Hello, hello. So, I've got recently convinced to make some domination replay casts from time to time, and this will be the first one of those, and also naturally a bit of a test. I did it on live stream before with some half-hearted casting, but yeah, not as a video yet. So, um, I won't try to do the cinematic hype casting battle showcases because I just can't really do that very well. So I try to focus on strategies and yeah, though I have to wing that for the factions I don't know very well a bit, but hopefully I don't spew as much bullshit out as I could. Um, And I'm also not yet sure where I source my replays for those things, for those replay casts from. So if you have something interesting, feel free to send it over my way, but no guarantees that I actually get to casting it or find it interesting enough for that. So yeah, that's for the beginning overhead. So let's get into the battle here that I already fly around a bit with a probably too fast camera, but whatever. It was a 45-minute long lag fest, one of the worst I ever had because my internet apparently decided to get allergic to Warhammer right in the finals. Luckily, you won't see that in the replay. Uh, so yeah, it's grand finals from last Friday's tournament with me on Empire versus Housecat, Housecat of War on the Dark Elves. And let's start with the Dark Elves, which have a very, I would say, simple build. They go max infantry with 3 Dread Spears, 5 Bleak Swords, a lot of black arcor. There's 4 here, so 1 is probably still in reinforcement, and 3 dark shots in the opening. And you will see that here is already the destination to get the 4th one. So just max infantry wide, and Deathcaster with just Juna to, well, probably targetly kill grenade launchers. And yeah, we will see what actually happens with this one. And then on my side, it's a bit of an unconventional Empire build. I just came with 5 spears shielded to hold the line, 1 huntsman to, yeah, a bit keep skirmishers away, I guess. Boris with his full leadership crush setup. That's not it. Here, Blood Roar and Crush the Weak to get terror routes. A Shadowcaster, Pit, and Melkoth, and 3 Knights of the Blazing Sun hidden in the forests. And yeah, well, the Dark Elf strategy is fairly simple. Win with shields on their archers and their superior infantry with bleak swords and black arc corsair, and just murder my infantry and hold the points with that. And my thought was on this that the bleak swords and corsairs and also dark shards that are very good all against my infantry are also all very weak to getting charged. So I took the highest charge bonus, Empire Cavalry, and tried to get them in there without giving my opponent much reaction time. And at this point I should leave it running. And yeah, this is what I also tried to execute. It looks so smooth on replay. It stopped every second and turned a second into 4 seconds when we actually played it. Yeah, here is the 4th Dark Shard coming in, that I already spoiled a bit for this missing spot here. So the Dark Elves currently can't see very much of my units. Those are somewhat still hidden here in the on the lower ground. The Huntsmen are hidden, and the Cav on the sides, and the Casters also hidden. So they don't know yet what's going on, and they have to guess a bit whether I do something funky or like I have a lot of stalked units like the Silver Bullets or a lot of Huntsmen to do a firing shootout against the Dark Shard was also a very distinctive possibility. But now the cards are open. My cavalry is spotted and barely managed to squeeze through here before they sealed it off, and gets a Puna into the face and charges in. Getting here a bit damage on Burrows, but that's not very important. And honestly, a lot of the damage here came from the Dark Shards, and the Puna wasn't that devastating, like still very good, but they have some charge resistance. And here is something happening that, well, can happen if you have lag in game, or happens more often if you have lag in the game. But can also, a bit of lag is always there, so it can always happen. You give a command for a nice 22 winds overcasted Pit of Shades, and somehow the deselection command doesn't really work because it's lagged and delayed, and then you click somewhere again and suddenly it's on that spot, and at some point it becomes invalid and suddenly it's totally focused on your caster itself. And he also took some nice overcast damage. So yeah, that was luckily nothing of my own units was in the vicinity, but this could have been here nice, that Dark Shard with some addition of Black Ark Corsairs. Yeah, enough ranting about that. Here's the one knight unit that got all of the brunt of things. Even the Corsairs did some nice damage. Is going down already. The others are fairly free to roam. They only have infantry here that's not stopping them, though the Cold One Knights are coming. But on the other side, he has now nothing to threaten those Outriders with granite launchers, so I can bring them safely out and start murdering infantry with them. Yeah, I tried to get the knights around. I brought my demi-griffins. I give some judgment on them later on. For now they do fine. They press through the front line, and yeah, Burrows is starting to terror out things and healed full from the damage he got before. Tried to rout them here with the miasma. Might have been better saved for the Cold One Knights, but the Knights of the Blazing Sun do an amazingly well job charging into the Cold One Knights. They are fairly weak to charge bonus, so even if the Knights are outclassed with anti-large and armor piercing, they still do very well against them, and I managed to rout them here. But there's more. And yeah, my Outriders do some work here, and that's bitter needed because the Black Ark Corsairs was otherwise utterly demolish my infantry. And I'm sorry for the Discord pings that you might hear in the video. I should have muted it. I will probably do it for the next one. Too late now. Yeah, the demis weaseled a bit through here. The value is good-ish, but they didn't really convince me here on the charge. Unbraced spears, dark shards didn't really finish one thing off. And now my ultra expansive cavalry units, like 3.6k in Blazing Suns and 1.4k in Demigriffins, are dead. Just dead. And that's half my army. So I was recently getting a bit worried here. Also, my Outriders got the second Puna of the game and straight shattered. Sad, lot of ammunition and 32 models left, but they got 1.1k value in infantry and cleared the dreaded Black Ark Corsairs that were going around here. Jeez, the Discord pings. All the time today no one wrote me, and now they're starting when I make this recording. Yeah, so I couldn't really translate my initial advances at fairly managing to punish and remove a lot of those dark shots and infantry into getting not even a double cap. So I have a lot of infantry here and a really solid core for an army and still this linebacker of Boris, but I can't really translate it into a victory right now, and the other side also has a still very functional army, albeit a bit distributed. So this was a bit of a mistake here. I thought charging into Cold One Knights and getting the Terror Beast leadership crush down would straight up rout them, but they're taking out about half my Empire Knight here. On the other side, the Cold One Knights get casted down, and they took quite a bit of fire off the Sterlin's Revenge and also got a melee with them, but they aren't good melee fighters, and the Sterlin's Revenge are decent melee fighters. You can see their attack here is about the same as the melee defense. Still in standing combat and with a bit of Overwatch fire from the Huntsman, the Cold One Knights are actually the ones going down. I managed to get the Cold One Knights off here, and now finally it looks like I can clear this point. The infantry fight here is also very much a stalemate, but that's okay for me right now. And Boris clears off the shooters from the point, so I can take it with my infantry now. And Empire Knights, yeah, not the worst target for Puna, and I think the Lord, that's still around here, bullying my Huntsman. But yeah, the Lord can now longer cast anything. 3 Punas cost 66 wins, and even if they had the law passive, you can't get the fourth one out, so this one is empty, while my wizard still has a lot of miasma in the cannon. Finally took this point, and now can start equalizing those points. You can see the Dark Elves have gotten quite a lead here. But my infantry is slowly starting to overwhelm the mid, also with support of the Empire Knights, which I charged here into the back of those Cold One Knights that were idle standing around, and they still lost. Here even more of them, but they're in the firing range of the AP pistols and fighting Boris. Now, this is something I do a lot here, and I don't think the reaction from the Dark Elf player was very apt to this. I chased those Dark Riders with my Grey Wizard, which is by no means a good fighter. I could only nibble at them, but if I force them to move, I get them idle, and that's a win for me. An empty caster with no more wins left for magic, disabling a Dark Rider crossbow, totally win. You can put them in guard mode and regularly renew that shooting command so that they still keep firing in this time, and especially here, if you have the time to fire in the demis, you might just take the damage from the Grey Wizard. It's not that much. But with all that thing, I had my 1 unit of swordsmen here, and the cavalry I had taking this point went off dying somewhere around here, and Boris accompanied them. So they took the point back, and I didn't even manage to equalize the points. Another mistake here, the Dark Riders here are nicely taking the charge for the Cold One Knights from my demigryphs, and their AP damage in there is wasted, and the Cold Ones and crossbows still do work against them. So that's their second life, and they're already dead again and haven't paid for the first life yet. So it wasn't a super good choice how I handled them, or maybe even how I brought them. Though I have here also the second life of my grenade launchers, and they remove those 50 melee defense dread spear units at which my infantry otherwise just couldn't clear. That's about the only thing that can do that. But I bring all my infantry now here in to take this point, and the Dark Elves are only delaying this. They know they can't hold this, but they can delay it to get to the point where they can triple cap, where I would have to triple cap them. And I focus all my efforts in here to take this point fast, but lose all control of this side in return. So it's almost trading a point for another. Luckily I had here still an Empire Knight to summon in reserve to fix that. And here actually the demis delay this advance really heavily. If those Dark Riders would already been on this point here, they might have taken it, and I would have been in trouble. Yeah, this Bleak Swords here kinda chased one of my spearman units, which I killed onto the point then and out in the open from in the forest here. So I could just grenade launch them away. Knights holding stuff off the point. Not the best to leave them in standing combat here, even if it's just Corsairs, as they only perform in charge good and well against them. Almost losing my grenade launchers here. They took some fire from those Dark Riders, and the Swordsman had to sacrifice itself to stop the Cold One Knights here. So their leadership can get really fragile. This was a daring maneuver here. They could have turned and maybe taken them out actually. But it's looking like I secure this side, but a bit dreadful again for this point, and just one unit of spears, and there's lots of stuff from the Dark Elves circling in, so it's probably gonna fall again. While they creep, I still haven't caught up in points, and if I go into another double cap against me, this could be devastating, could be into the point of no return. But with the living grenade launcher, I managed to clear here and turn the battlefield advantage so much to my side that I actually can push for the home objective here, and take that in return of losing the other side. A lone Cold One Knight, but as I mentioned, they're not very resistant to charges due to the low HP. So I try to break their charge a bit with them, counter charge, and move into their back or flank and get into a full surround against them. And you can see the Proud Cold War Knight HP bar is dropping quickly, and so does the leadership. They clean up some rests here. 2 units of spears still contesting this, but even if it's spears, if they are bound and their backs open, knights can just take them out. Yeah, here the Dark Elves no longer have magic. Their shooting is zoned again by my Grey Wizard. Again, I think it would be worth it to just force path them through the wizard and shoot at my grenade launchers, because they are the threat to all infantry here. Though you have to say, if the grenade launchers get the first volley, they can also decimate a light cav, so with about a similar range, it is a risky maneuver still. The Code 1 Knight that was a terror buff around here then got murdered by my now quite enormous advantage of knights, and this opens the outright grenade launchers a chance to clear this point, and now I'm taking it back and holding a triple cap in a minute, so I can really even out this advantage and push the Dark Elves to this point where they need to triple cap. And yeah, this grenade launcher has good value. It's a second life, remember that, so the value is not that crazy, but still, and the ammo is almost spent, and as a good rule of thumb, an emptied out grenade launcher is a one game. Yeah, now I have a triple cap. I even cleared the opposition against the triple cap, so there really isn't much of a chance for the Dark Elves to come back here, and they know that. Okay, and replay and some quick glimpse over the values. This one was probably the one that got the Puna and the Darkshot volley into the face first. So 600 for that, still okay. They ate some expensive spell. The others probably got multiple times summoned, so I'm not super sure how their value is. This one, maybe it just summoned it at the end, so the HP bar is full. 1900 for the shock cuff against things like Cold War Knights seems very appropriate. I was very satisfied with the performance of the Blazing Sun Knights here. Not so much with the Demigryphs, and so with the Empire Knights. The Empire Knights are cheap, so you can't really complain about them. They aren't really meant to annihilate things on the charge, and also not to trade with Cold War Knights, so it's okay what they did. They did their job, and that was the important part here. Grenade launchers, yeah, as I've shown, it's a second life, so they only overperformed like 50% of their value, and I had to sacrifice a lot of stuffs to keep them alive. But yeah, they're still a menace. Sterlin's Revenge, I always like them. Also on 2 lives, so they had a lot of ammunition going. I often see them on such values. Sometimes even on a single life. The caster, I don't know how much value he got actually from melee. I suspect it's several hundreds actually, since he got so ignored and could hit freely. Boris, yeah, not a super lot of value considering his price, but he was immortal and he is a terror beast, and that's his job, and he did it excellently. Um, the sorceress, yeah, killed the grenade launcher, killed the blazing sun knight with the puna. Um, the second one was maybe a bit hasty into the Empire Knight as a third puna. If it would have been there for the second grenade launcher, this whole thing might have looked different. So I can understand it though that you want to spend your wins quickly so that you can unsummon the Lord and don't run the danger of losing him, her in this case, and also earlier get an advantage to snowball. Dark shots still did surprisingly well considering that I cleared them a bit on the first charges, but yeah, I couldn't really finish them off completely. So, and yeah, they shooting into expensive knights and demi-griffins is a lot of value. Infantry, I can't really comment on them since I don't know how many lives they had, and they were up against grenade launchers, which kill Harasa indiscriminately. So, yeah. The repeaters, it were actually only two, so some of them was also double summoned, since I definitely routed some of the field. And yeah, they spent their time not so worthwhile running away from my Shadowcaster without magic. And yeah, that's about everything I have to say about this. So I stop the replay here and dreadedly await what file size it's gonna be. See you on the next one.